Edward here from earviewer.com. I have another video for you. This is one of the experiments that I've been working with where I'm looking for what I'm calling an imprint from the target location that is translated into an image somehow that happens prior to doing the remote viewing session. This is a process of doing some specific type of breathing techniques I've talked about in other videos, followed by certain eye movement techniques, and looking for an imprint to enter into my awareness that has a certain type of quality to it, certain type of feel to it, that I can then explore and then check the feedback and see if these imprints are coming through correctly and kind of what's going on there. Exactly how this is happening, I don't know, because again we're dealing with a type of image. Well, I'm calling it not so much of an image as much of it as an imprint. It's like something is being imprinted visually into my awareness, and it's very interesting to explore and kind of mess around with. It's like having a new human or a new physical experience, and it's just like, yeah, I did not know I could do that. And it's like, okay, well, what else is possible? What else can we do? But I'm also and I'm talking about this more on the Patreon site. This session here, I go into more in depth on the Patreon site. So for those who are interested in subscribing, I got content on there, and where I go a lot more in depth into what is actually taking place in my mind when an actual remote viewing or this type of imprinting is happening. So if you want to join, I appreciate it. And I got quite a bit of stuff going up there now. Also working with sidereal time or local sidereal time. If people are unfamiliar with that, it's a certain type of timekeeping that is more related to where the Earth is in our solar system in relation to the rest of the galaxy, and at a specific time during the day, the Earth is facing away from the center of our galaxy. And that is at 1330 local sidereal time. The local means wherever you are on the Earth. So here's a website here. I'm not even going to try to jgeisen.de astro. Just do a Google search for local sidereal time. I found this one. I can put in my location here as close as I can get. I'm in Austin, but there's Dallas. And it tells me what the local sidereal time is for where I am on the Earth. 1330 is the optimal time. There's a 2-hour window, an hour before and an hour after that 1330 mark, and that's kind of the optimal time where we are subjected to the least amount of noise and radiation coming at us from the center of the galaxy. The Earth is kind of shielding that from us and kind of giving our minds a little bit of a break. And in that break period is an optimal time to have this type of experience. So just something to keep in mind. Again, I talk about this more and go a little more in depth into that on my Patreon site. So if folks want to kind of go into a little bit deeper stuff, check that out. But this is an example of the imprint here. This was a target that I had worked not too long ago. The target was this metallic art piece that it looks like a church. It's all made out of metal. It's like a latticed metal here in the shape of a church. Very interesting. It is in Belgium. And so going into this, I did my about 8 minutes of breath of fire, which is a fast diaphragmatic yogic breath, followed by some periods of holding my breath and doing certain eye movements and looking for that imprint. I did get an imprint from this. I got 2 of them. One of them, the first one, I was having this imprint here, or this visual in my mind of these bull horns or these handlebars like this. That was my first imprint. and then I have a second one. How this is interesting to me, and someone pointed this out on my Patreon page, that in that town, in the same town as this, somebody else made this crucified cow art piece here, which is very strange. Caused a lot of big controversy there in Belgium. A cow that's being crucified. I don't think that's not a real cow. It's a piece of art. But the horns of the cow. And so the first imprint that I was getting was these bull horns. So could be that I was picking up on another story there. But as I kind of move through that, I start to go into the second imprint that I had received while doing the breath and the eye movement techniques, and this is where I go into it here. And also some type of checkered or technical pattern of metal. Technical pattern of metal. So that was the imprint that looked like that in my mind, imprinted into my mind. So when I got my feedback, I could see where that was coming from. So just a couple things in this video here. One, as I'm continually working on this, I'm calling it the visual imprint, and I'll be working at another target again today. It is right now 9:30 local sidereal time. I'm waiting till 13:30, and I'm going to do another session in the optimum time frame. So again, talking about local sidereal time, talking about these imprints, and that's pretty much it. This is really interesting stuff because I'm trying to wrap my mind around how this is working. Because in remote viewing, you get trained to be cautious. I'll say cautious of visual imprints that come into the mind. It's a very slippery slope of what that could be, what it could mean, and how to not get led astray by those images in your mind. This is a different process. I've been doing remote viewing for a long time. I know what they're talking about in CRV protocol. You don't want to follow those, follow those images. This is a different process and a different experience that is getting different types of results. So again, if you want to see more of these, check out my Patreon page. And that's pretty much it for this one. So I hope you find that interesting. Many more to come. I'll still be putting out the free videos here as well, but the more in-depth stuff and the bulk of the stuff is going on the Patreon. So I hope you find that interesting, and many more to come.